Hi, Gay.
Hi, Rich. How you doing?
Oh, just dandy.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Do we have anybody from the public joining us tonight?
No, we do not.
Okay, then we'll go to approve the minutes for the June meeting. Did everybody have a chance to look over minutes?
Wait,
I did.
Paul, is there a quorum?
It doesn't look like we have a quorum because I don't see Sonia.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We'll have to probably table those.
Yeah, so we're gonna end up having a table them, yes.
We'll table them then.
Unless anybody found any mistakes or anything they want to mention now. But we'll have to table them till next month.
Okay, we'll table them. We'll move on to capital tree planting program.
Okay. I'm just gonna run down the list. As we talked about back in June when we met, we try and start developing the list of plantings for the fall. And what I've got is the first few that I'm gonna mention here: Spring Hill Avenue, Sanger Road, Morton Street, Richards Avenue, and West Rocks Road are areas where there were projects. With one exception, there was a project, but it happens to fit with another request that we had from Gay, which you can talk about a little later with the items that she's got related to that. These are all projects where we've done curbs, sidewalks, paving, and we'll follow up with the tree planting now. We had some requests for some more at Colonial Village, in addition to what was done in the spring. Mulvoy Street, Lexington Street, Lincoln, Norr, Ely, Trinity Place, and Flax Hill Road from the north side of Taylor to Clay Street, Arbor Drive, Pond Ridge, number 10, and then Covewood Drive. And what I mean by the tree management plan locations, there's some stuff that's being done with the tree management plan right now where they're looking at a program for specifying some tree locations. So we're going to look at those two to include all in the fall planting cycle. So that's what I have right now for the list. And if anybody's got any more, please send them to me and we'll go from there.
Do you have a potential count for how many for the fall with the list?
Right now, with everything, we've probably got 150 to 200 trees we can do for the fall with this list and what we've gotten. And then we've also gotten some other ones too. So some of the one-offs. So we'll be 150 to 200 trees for the fall.
That sounds good.
Then the replacements, there's some various locations where some of the trees that were planted in the spring and last fall have not survived. So I'm working with Olmsted at Minutemen on those. They've already replaced some of them, and there are still some out there that need to be replaced that we've seen over the last couple of weeks or so. So they are we're actively working on those.
Good. Okay, next item then is update GIS intern mapping for the newly planted.
We were very fortunate. We were able to get a GIS intern and work with the IT department and Lindsay King. And between the intern that we had and were sharing with her, and then one of the interns that we had here in engineering, Jaden and Eric, they located all 294 trees. They're already in the system and been located.
Great.
So we were very fortunate and got that all knocked out during the course of the summer.
That's fantastic. And then the watering plan. I know July was really wet.
Yeah, July was pretty wet, and I'm gonna just to give you an idea of the dates too. I'm gonna skip to Minutemen's first, and I'm gonna share the screen just so you can see it and what they had done. And you see the screen?
No, I'm not seeing it yet.
No, okay. Let me, get back in. How about now?
Yes,
Now it's up.
Okay, Minutemen went through and did what they did, but just to give you an example, and that's why I brought it up, they, right off the bat, put right on the top, the heavy rain on July 3rd, 4th, 7th, or the 9th, 10th, 14th, and 16th. So between the two companies, Olmsted and Minutemen, they've given us the reports, but basically the amount of rain that we got during the month of July and so far into August, they haven't had to do a whole lot of supplemental watering.
Exact
Oh.
opposite of last summer.
Yes.
Mm.
Exact opposite. And one of the things I'm just gonna ask, Rich, could you or Jeff just give us your opinion on this? We had something happen last week over at Cannon Street where there was a large tree of heaven that, from what I understand, I guess because it was so wet so dry last summer, the trees keep on sucking up the water now, even though it may be more than they actually need. And this particular one over on Cannon Street broke, and there was no dead wood in it at all. It was totally alive, but I guess it broke from the weight of the extra water in the tree. It couldn't handle the weight.
I know, Paul, to answer that what we've been seeing through work-related trees is they put on an excessive amount of growth in the spring because we had a lot of rain and cool temperatures. They thought they were growing in a rainforest, and then it was supplemented with the summer excessive rain. So we have a lot of trees with heavy foliage, more than normal, that are breaking and exhibiting sound wood. So that doesn't sound uncommon.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it is normal, and it's because of the weather last summer that they're absorbing so much water with the rain that we've gotten. Is that accurate, or?
I don't know if it's directly correlated to last summer. I think it helped them recover and they just put on too much growth this year.
Yeah, it'd be tough to say without seeing the tree, but maybe just what the actual shape is. Maybe one limb had too much and it just split. But it'd be tough to. But yeah, I'd agree with Rich there.
Okay, yeah, their limb was 6 inches in diameter. When they cut it off, it was absolutely no rot, and it was solid wood.
Yeah, and then coupled with the excessive foliage, you get the surface of the leaves that hold the excessive rain. And then, that's a lot of extra weight, and then it makes them more prone to breaking.
Was it after a storm?
No.
Hmm.
It was a totally dry day last week. It came down across the road, across the street.
Some of them pre-crack during the storms, and then it takes a little while for them to finish off.
Okay. So right now, the companies have been in this aspect, they haven't had to do nearly as much watering this summer as they did last summer, so it's saving them money. You can see they've gone out into July, and the month of July, as it mentioned, they really didn't need to do anything at all, and it seems to be continuing in August. So I've gotten reports from both Olmsted and Minutemen, and Minutemen actually listed the date of all of the rain events where there was heavy rain. Stop sharing that.
Got it. Okay. Next, this is a new item we put in. Tree liaison update, because we didn't have anything for tree liaisons because we need to get more tree liaisons. So I'm going to turn it over to Gay. This is your time to update us.
okay. So this past week, Paul and I met with two organizations located on Richards Avenue that have accepted our tree planting offerings. One is Temple Shalom Cemetery at 143 Richards Avenue. That's right across from Community College and adjacent to Cedar Street. We suggested removing some, after walking around the perimeter, Paul and I, and then we met with Stacy Cohen, the executive director. We came across some suggestions for her. So first we wanted to do was removing the dead trees on Richards Avenue. She's got a few trees that are dead and dying states to sort of intertwined along the fences. So we said that we would remove that. And then we offered to do replacement and planting of trees along Richards Avenue, and that's outside the fences. There's plenty of room to do that, keeping in mind there are overhead wires above. So we suggested redbud, dogwood, and hawthorn. There is also a special request for one cedar tree. There's one dead or dying cedar tree right now. And the cedar tree is sort of symbolic, and it's overlooking her mother's, the executive director's, her mother's headstone. And cedar is kind of representative of the Jewish faith. So we said that we'd make this exception and replace the cedar tree, which is on the list, but it's only that one. And also going to where it's the corner where Cedar Street is and the corner of Richards Avenue, she requested a planting of a red oak. There's a lot of space there, just one red oak. She was okay with it. Paul and I had a concern that it would be hiding the sign, and she was okay that it would hide the sign of the building. And it wouldn't be interfering with line sight for cars moving through the lights and everything else. And then on the other side, going along Cedar Street, facing the school, planting of maples, and our suggestion was ash Marshall seedless. So based upon, your feedback, Richard, and other discussions, but she was pretty open to what our suggestions were and open to anything else really we came up with. She's very excited about it. Okay.
I got one question.
Mhm.
Marshall seedless, is that not in the ash family?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so all ash trees are under attack from the emerald ash borer.
I know.
So I would suggest not planting any ash trees while the emerald, because the Marshall seedless ash trees are not exempt from the emerald ash borer.
Okay.
So
we
we don't want to put something in and then have it
Have it die.
incorrect and die from an invasive insect, which the emerald ash borer is.
Right. So we really shouldn't even be on the list at this stage, right? Because
They
it's
shouldn't be
still-
on the list. We should, when we
Okay.
revise the list, those have to come off.
Okay, that's fine. So we'll come up with another suggestion for her.
Yeah, maples
Yeah.
are, I think at the cemetery where we did the previous planting, I just went by there last week. Those trees have done fantastic.
They are. Good job.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, exactly.
Good
I
job.
checked in response to the request that we got about removing the trees out there. The trees are so dead out there. The only thing green on them is the poison ivy that's infested the trees. And then the one that Gabe was talking about, it's in the fence. I've gotten property line maps. The fence is the property line, so it would be considered a city tree. Anytime we've got, and just for general knowledge too for people, with the city here, anytime the property line falls within the tree itself, we consider it a city tree to help the residents out, because a lot of people are looking for the relief for the cost of having to remove a dead tree. So we consider that a city tree, so that is a city tree. So we will be removing those, posting them, and then replanting.
And Richard, as of right now, they're redoing the curbs right in front of it. So it's gonna look nice. And as Paul was mentioning before, it's kind of a nice finishing touch once the curbs are done and the road is done, and then to put the trees in the fall. Hopefully it'll be done by then.
Awesome. I
Okay.
know Mr. Pete isn't with us tonight, but he was instrumental with the plan for the other cemetery. So, I mean, those trees are looking great. I mean, I don't know if we want to get him involved. Maybe he can help assist with the tree selection so we keep that continuity down Richards Avenue.
Yes, I think it'd be great. Great idea. And
Is
then
there any,
You want to
is
reach
there any
out to?
Yeah, Jeff?
I was gonna
Okay.
say, is there any opportunity for NTA to get involved, like interior wise of those cemeteries?
interior wise, what do you mean by that?
I'm assuming you're planting along Richards Ave. So
Yes.
those would be considered street trees, but
Correct.
if if it's a private property, so interior roadway, NTA can plant along the interior roads.
I think the concern there is there are a lot of sites there, burial sites. And there
Yeah,
didn't-
there usually is.
Yeah, so there didn't seem to be a lot of room for it. I don't think she was really open to that. In fact, she was sort of negative about it until we came up with the suggestions of outside. But they'll have another cemetery, Jeff, that you could jump in on. So we might aim for that, and that's part two.
Yeah, keep us in mind.
Okay, good. Well, here's a good example. The second meeting was at Beth Israel Cemetery, and this is located at 225 Richards Avenue. Along Richards Avenue and inside the stone wall, we suggested some tall trees such as maples, oaks, and a tulip tree. It's very similar to what we did in the St. John's Cemetery. There is plenty of room there, a lot of space, and there's no overhead wires. And here, Jeff, there's a little bit of opportunity since he's not planning on sites there that he knows of. So we might be able to maybe add a couple of more trees in there in that area. Opposite where the driveway is going into the cemetery, facing it to the right, there is a sign for listing the cemetery. And in back of the cemetery is a bit about open space. And so he wanted, we were going to go with a dogwood, either pink or white, Paul. I don't remember which one he said. I don't think it mattered to him. So
Yeah.
we were going to go with that, and a little bit of cleaning up on the inside of the stone wall. But there's wide open space there to do things, and he was very excited about it. So Jeff, perhaps we can have a little conversation about some other ideas.
Yeah, always happy to continue planting trees where we can and increase the impact.
Great.
Sounds
No,
good.
this is
You have no
great.
wires on that side.
No wires on that
Worked
side.
out very well. Yeah, Gabe did a lot of work on this, so thank you, we appreciate it, and if we can do what we did in the St. John Cemetery, it'll be a great success.
Right, and we've got the third cemetery just waiting for approval from that rabbi. So we'll have to see how that goes. So we'll see, there might be more trees right across diagonally across from this cemetery. It's a different synagogue.
Awesome.
And the section down at 143 worked out perfectly because it checked the box of doing completion after we did the paving and curbs, but it also checked the box of an area where Gabe just happened to be looking to put stuff too, so it was very fortunate. It worked out well.
Very good. Thank you, Gay.
Sure.
That brings us right back to Jeff. Update on the NTA activities.
So we had a summer recess. Hi everyone, Jeff from Norwalk Tree Alliance. Everyone knows me. I know everybody. I've seen everyone before here. But so we had our summer recess. We haven't been doing too much, but there has been coordination on our parts. We've consolidated our list of trees that we've gotten from different events that we've gone to. So people will sign up for trees if they want them. So we have names and addresses. We're consolidating them to kind of locate them in different areas so that we can, knock them off in groups. So let's say if we had a big cluster in East Norwalk, we can take care of those one spring, and it helps us for our planning. So we're doing that. And then the other big thing that we're still in planning for is we're trying to do a Oktoberfest, like a beer garden tasting. So maybe we're looking at 314 or Space Cat to do a consolidated fundraising event with them. And we thought it'd be fun to learn about trees in a tree garden or a beer garden. So that's one way we're looking to do some fundraising. And those are the two major things that we've been doing. We'll start back up in September with our next
Great.
meeting.
Thank you for that. Congratulations too on the promoting of harvesting the first tree out of the tree farm.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was a big deal. And I believe we've gotten 7 or 9 more out of there and planted. So yeah, like I said last meeting, that was a big coordination effort from a lot of people before me. And now we're bringing that vision to planting trees in the ground that we've grown at the tree farm. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, that was cool.
I'm gonna say a lot of people would be happy to hear that, and even some people that are no longer with us too.
Right, was that the
Yeah.
tree planting we did, Paul, with Hal and all of us got together that day? Is that trees from that?
It goes back that far, and Dan Landau, the group that used to be on the Tree Alliance. So yes, it's been
Wow.
around for a long time and finally came to fruition. So there'll be a lot of people happy to see that.
That's
Yeah,
true.
and the first one was, I believe, an oak tree. I know the white oak is the Connecticut state tree, so I believe that was the first one out of there in oak. I don't know if it was a white tree or white oak exactly, but
It looked like a white oak based on the pictures you promoted.
yeah.
Cool to
I'm-
find the kid that planted that would be pretty neat.
What's that?
Be neat to track down the kid that planted that one.
Oh,
Originally, yeah.
yeah, the original planter.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, no.
I'm not sure either. Okay. So that takes us to other business then.
Is that, can I just volunteer? Somebody, I didn't want to cut anyone off. We're all concerned about the infestation of the spotted lantern. Are we going to do something? And perhaps Jeff, you're doing this already with your organization. Are we doing write-ups about how to get rid of them? Are we doing write-ups about removal of the tree of heaven? The Stanford Arboretum has a terrific information about the removal of the tree of heaven. In particular, I know the state of Connecticut, the agricultural department has information also about digging up the tree of heaven, getting rid of it, which is not easy to do, etc. So are we doing anything about that, writing up brochures on our website or?
We haven't, but that would be a very good idea because, and I'm not sure if everyone is aware of it, but the new communications director, Michelle Woods, has been very active about trying to get different information out to people and the public and residents versus what was done in the past. And with what she's done right now, we have a Wednesday update that we put out on the Facebook page every Wednesday. So if we have information that we wanted to put out for something like that, that would be a way of getting it out to the public. So we could have her put that out for the DPW announcement on a Wednesday, and they're always looking for new topics and new ideas. So that would be something that would probably be well received.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay, we're not doing anything, but as of yet. But I do know that they like a lot of tropical annuals like bougainvillea and mandevilla vines and the vinca, stuff like that people have on their patios. So a little bit of education wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, I think just kind of copying and pasting the state recommendations would be fine. Just another avenue for people to find information regarding the spotted lanternfly.
And the tree of heaven, I know with my landscapers and they speak Spanish, I sort of copied and printed out information and gave it to them and they weren't even aware of it. So maybe if we can do something like that to sort of help out our local landscapers and giving out information too somehow.
Have we seen a lot of that up here? Me personally, I haven't yet, but I know my family's in New Jersey. They post all the time about it, and I'm like, I don't see them as much here, but maybe I'm just not.
Oh, come to my backyard because there's tons of them. I also have the tree of heaven, which I'm having a tough time getting rid of. So they're all over the place, and now they're now at the adult stage. So and they're really large. You can't miss them, and they hop, so you can't even catch them to kill them.
I know Ken Hughes from Recreation and Parks mentioned that they've been seeing some also. So it sounds like it might be getting worse and progressing.
They're all over the place. They're already here. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and
I mean,
this is just
anybody have access to the information? If you've got something and you want to send it to me, I'll get it to Michelle so that we can get it out to the public. If anybody wants to provide it to me so that we got accurate information.
If you want, I'll just copy it right from what the state of Connecticut's recommending. It can be that simple.
That would be great.
And there's a diagram of what it looks like in the various stages of life for the insect. And then also what the tree of heaven looks like, which can be confused with a couple of other trees. So maybe we have to show various comparisons of it and how to eliminate it.
Yeah, if you want to get me any information, we'll put something together and we'll get it to Michelle and see if we can get it posted so that it gets out to the residents and the public.
No, I can do that.
That would be great. It would be appreciated.
So what
What
we're
else?
seeing, Gay, is it also prefers grapevine. So porcelain vine is in the grape family, which
Okay.
is an invasive vine, which is very common around here. So a lot of properties that have, I have properties that have both Atlantis and porcelain vine. They're heavily infested with lanternfly.
Mm,
So we're advising people to remove the invasive plants that are attracting the lanternfly in. But they are saying this is a buildup year. And after they feed on their primary food source, they can move to all sorts of other trees. So it's going to be a tough one.
Okay, I was just gonna ask you about it. Is it only the invasives or is it all trees?
No, they can feed on all trees, unfortunately, but they're attracted into an area on their preferred food. So great, anything in the grapevine family and Atlantis trees seem to be their preference right now.
If they would only just stay there, that'd be great.
That'd be great, yeah. Get rid of the porcelain vine and Atlantis tree and not move on.
Yeah.
We'd thank them.
Yeah.
Good point. Thank you, Gay, for bringing that up.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. One thing that I wanted to also mention too, that I didn't put a formal item on the agenda, but I just wanted to get everybody's input because what I'll do then is I'll actually put an agenda item out for next month. The potential locations for the Arbor Day celebration for 2024. I got the list that we've had in the past, and there's 2 locations that are up, but I want to talk real quickly about them. Silvermine School was last done in 2010. So that would be the school that would be next on the list. And then Fox Run was 2011. But out at Silvermine, I know they realigned the parking lot out there, and because of some trees that needed to be removed related to that, they did plantings out there. We could pick that school if they were interested in it and take and utilize what was already planted out there as a teaching mechanism and then plant another tree for the event too. Or we could go on to like Fox Run, which I know has had sidewalk work done out there, but there may end up being another tree that we plant as part of the Arbor Day ceremony. So it's just something to think about. And then I'll put a formal item on the agenda for next month. I'm not sure what everybody thinks about that, which way to go.
I would stay with Silvermine first, and then if they decline, then move on to Fox Run.
Okay, and I think the trees that have been planted out there, we could really use that as a teaching mechanism. As when we had to do tree removal related to the parking lot, we added all these new trees in. It was part of the permit process. And then in addition to that, now we'll plant another tree. So it could be used as a teaching tool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
I have one question also with regards to the fall planting, Paul. Did either Olmsted or Minuteman give you a timeline as to when they want orders by any chance?
they haven't given it to me, but I know based on Olmsted's past preferences, the sooner the better. So if we can get them something by the early to mid-September, that would be ideal, and that's kind of pushing it. Really, next meeting for the tree advisory committee, which is on the 26th of September, is probably too late. So I'd like to have members, if they can, get me anything they can by email ahead of time, rather than wait for that meeting, so that we can get it to Olmsted and Minutemen by early September.
But if we get something at the next meeting, that's not too late to procure the tree and still plant, would it be?
No, as long as it's not a frost, we've gone, like last year, we planted some trees right up to the beginning of December.
Yeah, and it seems like ideal soil moisture right now, so they should be happy compared to last summer going into fall.
Yeah. So as soon as we can get them, to answer your question, Rich, but if we got something brought up at the September meeting, we should have more than enough time between then and the end of the planting season by early December to get them in the ground, ordered
Sure.
in the ground.
Yep, makes total sense. Okay, thank you. Anything else? Otherwise, we will adjourn, and I apologize to everybody once again for running late. Had some unforeseen business at the very end of the day. Erica is not with us, so she asked me to run the meeting. I didn't plan on being late, so I apologize to everybody.
Don't worry about it.
No
Not a
worries.
problem.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Look forward to seeing you next month then.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Have a good
Thank you.
night.
Have a good
Have a
night.
good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Have a good
Good
night.
night.